Hi, how's it going?
Good, good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Pleasure.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's great to be able to talk to you now. Obviously, some different circumstances have arose over the last week to be able to change things, sadly, for the band and music in general. But it's great to be able to talk to you now about the new album from Ad Infinitum, Chapter 1, Monarchy, which is still coming out the 3rd of April through Napalm Records.
Yes, yeah. It's a very strange time for music right now, but I'm very thankful that we live in the age of social media and streaming platforms, and yeah, that we can still play music for people somehow.
Oh, absolutely. And what great music it is, too. I mean, I really love seeing what's going on with this album, too. And I can't wait for everyone else to be able to hear it as well, too, because I just love the way that all of this is going on. I mean, just like. Yeah, I mean, just even though sadly with the tour being not being able to take place, I'm still glad people are able to check out the social media platforms and be able to check out this album when it comes out in a few weeks.
Yeah, me too. It was kind of a heartbreaking news when you got to know that the tour was canceled, because obviously it was a big part of our promotion for this album. But it's part of the game, and you have to find a plan B. And we will continue to share our music, and we have a third video coming out very soon, and we're trying to find new tour dates. And the tour has actually I got the news a few hours ago that all the tour dates have already been rescheduled for another time that I cannot mention yet. But yeah, it will be announced very soon. So I'm happy that people are working hard on finding a solution to this situation.
Oh, that's so great to hear that. I mean, obviously, with so much that's going on in the world right now, I mean, some tours had to be canceled indefinitely, but I'm glad to see that there are going to be some dates that will be rescheduled.
Yeah, for some musicians, it's a disaster because, I think not a lot of people realize how it is, and assume that, yeah, there's record label to help, and then, no, it's a huge loss, especially for the bands, for example, who are touring. The European bands touring right now in the US, who had to cancel an entire tour, who, for example, had to pay for visa, flights, merchandising, and tour bus, and the crew, etc., etc. It's a huge loss, and very often you expect to recoup some of this money that you invested with the fees of the shows, and with the merchandising, and with, I don't know, meet and greet, or whatever you do on tour to have an income. And when you invest that money up front, and then you don't have the possibility to make these shows happen, it's a catastrophe. And I feel very sorry for all the bands to whom it happened.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, just it's such a weird time right now to be a part of arts in general, let alone in music, and just seeing everything that's going on in the world around us. But I gotta imagine, when all of this does eventually dies down and we're able to live lives normally again, I gotta imagine there's gotta be some inspiration that can be taken from all this creatively.
We'll definitely learn from it, because I think no one was ready for this. And at first we thought, yeah, it's gonna last a few days. The general panic, and it's gonna go down again, because it's, at first, there was this, it's just a flu, but then you realize that all the countries are closing their borders, and that the restaurants are being closed, and the public places are being closed, and when you realize how big this is, you're like, oh, we're not prepared. And I think when life is gonna become normal again, we will be more cautious about everything we do. But the thing is, we don't know when this will happen. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and Yeah, I mean, there's no like specific day or time or anything like that for when it will eventually die down. So again, it just has this weird, creepy feeling behind it. It's where it's just like we never know what's gonna happen next. We don't know when we're gonna be okay again. It's just like we're there's so many questions that are left
Yeah.
unanswered, and we're just sitting here waiting.
Yeah, I know when I was thinking about, the borders are being closed for 1 month, and then it's good again. But you don't know about this, and you don't even know if the summer festivals will take place. And this is pretty terrible, I would say.
Oh, very much so. But at least in the meantime, with the tour thankfully being able to be rescheduled, that is going to give people more of a chance to be able to check out this album because it definitely deserves to be checked out and enjoyed, and I enjoy it very much so.
Thank you.
Oh, very much so, and
Thank
yeah,
you so much.
oh, no problem. And along with that, I mean, I love the mixture of everything that's going on in the band. I mean, with your vocals and the rest of the band, I mean, it just feels like it's perfectly blended together. And I just imagine in that live setting, people are just really gonna enjoy what you bring to the table.
I hope they will. um, it's we're so much looking forward to bringing this live. I mean, it's great to release an album, but yeah, when you finally get to play it in front of people, this is how you really see the reactions live, how people are enjoying your music. And like you said, this, I think, yeah, people will have more time to listen to it and to get to know it. And when we will finally be able to play live, then it will be like, finally it happens. And I hope for us, but I hope also for people who perhaps are looking forward to seeing us live.
Oh, definitely. So, for those that may not be familiar with everything that's been going on, like, how did the band eventually come to be, and what was it like to start working on this album once everything came together?
It was great. It was really interesting, and this whole process that's been that we had for this first album will never come back again because it was so particular. It started a long time ago when I felt the need of creating something from A to Z. The bands I've been writing songs with, it was always like either working together in the rehearsal room and then finding some riffs, finding some melodies, and then creating a song around it, or like for example in Ridge of Light, John is the main composer and he would compose all the melodies, all the instrumental melodies, and then after this work is done, I have some freedom to create some vocals and lyrics, but it's never the same when some part of when the biggest part of the song is already done. You don't have the same freedom, and I felt the need of really creating something from the beginning and being part of the whole creating process from the beginning and through all the steps. And this is how I decided to create Ad Infinitum, and first it was supposed to be just a solo project that I would record and put out. And in the end, I got to work with Oliver Phillips, who is a brilliant producer, and to really find the sound of Ad Infinitum. The way we worked together is that I created some demos and then I sent them to him, and he would rewrite the instruments the way they should be written. I'm not a guitar player, I'm not a drummer, so the way I write drums would make the ears of a drummer bleed, but it still gives you an idea of where I want to go. But still, he worked on each instrumental part and created beautiful orchestrations. And so we created first these two songs to contact record labels and to start a crowdfunding campaign, and then afterwards the guys joined the band and they were involved in the writing process, and it was really interesting because everyone had some interesting ideas. For sure, some of the work was already done because, like I said, I started alone, but But for example, when you take the song Marching on Versailles, it was originally an idea of Nick, our drummer, who had this brilliant idea of instrumental, and then he sent it to me, and then I wrote some vocals. And Tell Me Why was a song that started from an idea of Jonas, and then he sent it to the guys, and then Nick wrote the drums, and then Adrian wrote the guitars, and I wrote the vocals. So it was kind of a let's get to know how we work together process, and this was really interesting.
Oh, and it's so great to see the way that it did turn out as well, too. I mean, I'm glad it was able to go from a solo album type idea to actually becoming a full-fledged band and being able to see this side of you, because it's awesome to see like a full album in this direction.
Well, the thing is, I really enjoy the dynamic of a real band. And at some point, I came to this point where I was like, okay, if I want to play live, I need to hire musicians, but I don't like this idea, to be the Melissa and her musicians. I didn't like this. I wanted people to be part of it and to have their opinion to give and to bring something to it. It's a completely different dynamic. And when you're alone and I don't have 20 years of experience, so I make mistakes, and I like to have also the opinion of other people and to discuss some things and to discuss the best decision for this or that. And the whole dynamic is different because everyone is involved and everyone is invested and invests his heart into it, and it's 10 times better, I think. And I really loved that it involved this way.
Yeah.
Evolved. Sorry.
No. No problem. And yeah, I was just going to say, I absolutely agree with that as well, too. I mean, obviously there can be solo projects and solo bands that can turn out with a different dynamic as well, too. But I love this approach to it, too, because it has more of that organic feeling. I mean, you get the idea of where the band is right now and just this amazing sound that's going on, but you can also just get that sense in the future that there's so much more room now for the band to be able to grow, that it is a full band.
Yeah, and you also feel it when it's one person writing everything, or when, for example, okay, I have to think about the song now. Tell Me Why. When you listen to the guitar solo, for example, there's two guitar soli, if you want to be correct. You can feel that it's not been written by me because I'm a singer and I'm not a guitar player. I play a little bit of acoustic guitar next to the fire and the marshmallows, but I'm not a guitar player. And you can feel it when it's a real guitar player writing a solo, writing a riff. You can feel it when it's a real drummer playing the drums, playing a riff. So I think it gives this, like you said, organic feel and something more real,
Oh, very much so. And I love it when it does turn into a full band for all of those reasons, because it does feel like a real band. And that's what I appreciate so much about the band, because when it's done in this style and I hear it in a band, it just has a completely different taste than a lot of bands that might be just written under one person. And that's what I was really glad to see happen here.
Yeah, and also the guys have good ideas, so why not using them? I don't want to be a dictator. If the drummer has a nice idea for vocals, if it's a good one, it serves the band, so why not?
Oh, very much so. And yeah, and like I said before, I mean, that also leaves the band be able to grow more, because I really love the sound that's going on here, and this is just the first album. I mean, everything that could happen with the second, third, fourth album down the road. I mean, there's so many different directions that it could go into, but it can still have that sound of Ad Infinitum.
Yeah, and also, I have to give credits to Jacob Hansen, who mixed and mastered the album, because he created a perfect sound, in my opinion. He's able to mix the instruments in a way that you will hear everything. There's nothing that gets hidden by something else. You can really hear all the instruments, and you have the power of metal first, and then you have this nice envelope of orchestrations, which is the cherry on the cake. It's not like everything goes together in your face. It's like you can appreciate every touch of it, but the most important thing that we wanted and that we have thanks to him is that when you listen to it, you have first, it takes your stomach, because you have the power of the drums, you have the guitar on the front. This is exactly what you will have on stage, because we don't have a keyboard player, so it's important that the metal elements are what you hear first, and that the orchestrations are, let's say, I would not say secondary, but on another level, or on the plan, or I don't find the word in English, I'm sorry, but that's you get first the power of metal.
Oh, very much so. And again, it's great to be able to see that too. And I can't wait to see what's going to be happening with that in the future too. I mean, like I mentioned before, the fact that the tour dates have been rescheduled and not completely canceled, so you're not completely starting over from scratch trying to book touring for later in the year or what happens. So and with that tour, I mean, it's awesome to see that the very diverse lineup that is a part of that. I mean, when you have like Serenity, when you have Dynasty, and then having you open the show, I mean, that's just so cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I have to say, on this tour, I mean, I was first sad that we couldn't play, but I was also sad not being able to attend the shows of the others, especially Dynasty, because they're coming back with a kick-ass new album. I've been able to listen to it, and man, this is so good. I already said I'm gonna be fangirling in the audience. These guys are very good, and like you said, it's a very good lineup. So if I was not taking part of it, I would definitely visit a show.
Oh, so cool. And, with your talents and everything, it's like I first discovered what you could do last year, and coming up now on just about a year with Rage of Light with Imploder, which was easily one of my favorite albums of last year. What's it like to be able...
Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. I was going to say, what's it like to be able to have something like Rage of Light be able to come out last year, and now being able to have your own solo work, just a few days after the first year of that coming out?
Well, it's very different work, and it's interesting in both bands, because, like I said, with Rage of Light, it's more like it's, let's say, John's baby. It's his creation, his sound, and it's very interesting to work with him, because he's a very hardworking person, and he's also creating the videos that we released, and there's nothing he cannot do. So very interesting. On the other hand, it's for me even more interesting to be able to create everything from the beginning, because you can really get to know and understand how everything works, the music business, the booking, the promotion, and to do everything you can to make it work. And then if it doesn't work, then at least you could say, okay, I did everything. But if it works, it's so rewarding. When we released the first single, and we had so many great comments and so much support from everywhere, it felt so good, because I already said it once, but when you release for the first time a single with a new band on the Napalm Records channel, it's like standing naked in front of a window and having a ton of people in front of you watching you, because you have metal fans from every kind of genre, like power metal, death metal, melodic death metal, whatever you want. And suddenly you just expose your music and you wait. And there were so many great comments and so much support that we were like, this is so rewarding. It was a beautiful moment, and I really enjoyed this part of it as well.
Oh, yeah, and it's just awesome to see all of that come together. And, just a lot of people being able to discover Rage of Light last year, for the first album, and now being able to see at Infinitum being able to be discovered now, a year later, and of course, with the album just coming out in just a few weeks through Napalm Records. I mean, what was it like to actually be able to start all of this and to get signed to an album like Napalm?
Well, it's obviously a great chance, especially for young bands. We're very, very grateful for the opportunity because it makes a lot of things easier. Like, just take the spread of our music. There's so many people who got to know about us through the Napalm Records channels, which makes a huge difference. And they have a lot of experience when it comes to promotion and the music business and the lives and booking, etc. And the list goes on and on and on. So it's very good to be able to rely on people who know what they are doing and who know what you're supposed to do if you want to succeed.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic to see a label like Napalm being able to see that in this band and being able to have you sign and be able to bring this to a bigger light. And I love what they've been able to accomplish with that as well, too. I mean, the fact that they're been able to work on singles and be able to have some amazing videos to go along with them too. I mean, they feel like that they fit visually everything that's going on in their respective songs perfectly.
Well, for the videos, I would like to give the credits to Ralph Leitner, who directed them, because he worked on a few Napalm Records videos already, but I got to know him because of Workings. And when I saw the quality of his videos, I just thought, okay, I really want to work with him. And he managed it, and he managed everything in a way that made our life really easy. He came up with many ideas and contacted the people and organized everything in a way that we just had to show up with our material and follow his instructions. And he has brilliant ideas. So yeah, it was a pleasure to work with him, and we'll definitely work with him again in the future. And the quality of the videos that he's creating is brilliant.
Oh, very much so. And, another form that visually that's going on with the band is the album cover. I mean, I really love that as well, too. I mean, having you in the forefront and then... Oh, not a problem. It's just like I love the use of colors that's going on there and having you in the forefront. I mean, what was it like when you saw that album cover for the first time?
Well, it's funny because for a long time we had another album cover in mind, and it was actually already created. And at some point, I think I was just like, I want to try something else and see what's best. And we received these beautiful pictures that we did in Madrid with Natalia, a brilliant photographer, very talented. We did this video shoot together with her last year in the summer. Spent a few days in Madrid. And when we received the result, I was like, first band picture I opened, I'm like, wow, that would be a kick-ass album cover. And we discussed with the guys, and we were like, okay, let's not use a band picture as an album cover, but we can see what she can do. Usually she's, I don't know if she's used to making album covers, but she does brilliant pictures. She did the promo pictures of Cobra and the Lotus. She did Camelot. She did Battle Beast, and I loved her work. And she did a brilliant work with us as well. And I thought, let's just try, with the pictures she took of us and some kind of arrangements in the background. And I just told her this and no real instructions. And she came up with this, and I was like, we were all super amazed by her work, and we decided, okay, let's go for it.
Oh, that's so cool to hear that too, sometimes it's great to be able to see that happen as well too, where, you have an idea for something and then you just think about trying something else and then that turns out to be even better. It's just like it's another great example of like always being able to keep an open mind and trying new things.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's also something you should do with the songs. We were discussing it today with a friend of mine. And saying sometimes you have an idea of a song and you're like, yeah, that's cool. But then it's your decision to just stick to this idea or try something else and see if you can do better.
Yeah, and that again, bringing things back around is why I'm so happy to see this band actually come to fruition as well, too, because, with this amazing debut with Chapter 1 Monarchy, I love everything that's going on with it. Your vocal range being able to be shown through the forefront and everything that's going on with that. I mean, the more that this band is able to tour and record, I can just see so much room to be able to explore so many different territories that might not even seem possible right now.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, we've explored a lot. We took a lot of time to write. We took a lot of time to also question what we've been doing. And I think we came to a point where we're really happy about what we did. And we cannot wait to continue this with chapter 2.
Oh, fantastic. And I think that's a great end to the interview here. I mean, leaving people wanting more. I mean, I really want that chapter 2 already, but, chapter 1's not even released yet. But, with that, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. I've wanted to be able to set up an interview ever since I discovered Rage of Light, so it's great to be able to talk to you now with Ad Infinitum, and of course, chapter 1 Monarchy coming out 3rd of April through Napalm Records. I love this album. I love everything that's going on there. Your amazing range and voice is just incredible to be able to hear that, and I can't wait to be able to see the tour dates getting rescheduled and life getting back to normal eventually. But until then, I thank you very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice.
Before we're done, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
Well, I just hope that with the situation getting back to normal, we will be able to tour everywhere and to meet the people who will like this album.